Everybody smile.
Yes, we're going to be recording and going to Facebook Live now.
Amanda, just let me know when you're ready to start.
I was about to say, I do believe that everybody is back now. I just see, yeah, it looks like everybody's back from the breakout groups now.
Okay. So are we recording and on Facebook?
Yep, we're live.
Great. Well, hello, welcome everyone to our Lunch and Learn series for NAWBO, Kentucky. This one is Small Business Lending, What You Need to Know. And as we all know, this is an extremely important topic for women business owners this year, especially with everything with COVID, trying to keep your businesses running, keep your employees hired. There are so many issues this year. So we are so grateful to our guests today to come on and talk about some of these issues. We're going to introduce the guest here in a few minutes. So I just wanted to talk about a few NAWBO things. So NAWBO, this is why we're here, right? We're here to educate women who own their own businesses. We're here to connect women to other women out there that are doing this work so they can learn, so they can get the resources they need to grow their businesses. We're here to connect women business owners to professionals and other people that can help them in their businesses. So I hope that you guys are taking advantage of all of these resources, that you're connecting with other women in this organization, that you're not only connecting with women here in Kentucky in our chapter, but also nationally. That is one of the advantages that our organization has, is that we have this huge network across the nation of women business owners and women professionals that are doing the same work. And with this new virtual world that we're living in, that access is so easy. So please, I encourage you guys. So National has, they have a weekly Lunch and Learn series that you can go. They're on Tuesdays. And they also have a weekly, just kind of a get together national social call that you can get on and join. So it's a great way to connect with other women across the country just by doing these national events. And they are free for NAWBO members right now. So I encourage you guys, take advantage of this network. And just continue to meet other amazing women. I've met so many amazing women in this organization, and I'm grateful for all of you. I see all of your beautiful faces, and I'm so glad you're here today. Okay, so we are going to talk, I'm going to do a quick few announcements about a few things we have coming up. So we are going to start this Lunch and Learn series is going to start, and it's going to be every month, and I'm going to let Linda and Sharon talk about that specifically, what that's going to look like going forward. So you can get that on your calendars. And then we also do a celebration circle, and that's the first Wednesday of every month. And that is a kind of a social get together. It's from 4 to 5 p.m. Just kind of check in with all your sisters at NAWBO, see what they're struggling with, see what they're celebrating. It's just a great way to unwind at the end of the day and talk to and get some information from other women. And then we also have, we are currently taking proposals for our GROW program. So our GROW program is an educational series that you sign up. It's tuition based. That will be starting in April of this year. So we're taking proposals for the facilitator. So if you know anyone, we sent that out yesterday in our newsletter. It has the complete RFP in there for you to look at and review. So if you know anyone or if you're interested, please contact us. All of the contact information is on our website, I believe, Amanda. And so any information you need that. So please, we would love to have a great facilitator this year for that program. And I'm also going to thank our sponsors. We cannot do any of this work without our sponsors. So I'm going to run down those. Amanda, do you have the graphic we can pull up? Make sure I have the right view. There we go. All right. So our founding partners are Chase Bank and Spalding University. And then our other sponsors are Masonic Home, GLI, Chenault Solutions, Tops Louisville, Ameriprise Financial, Abney and Abney Associates, MCM CPAs and Advisors, Semtech, Splendid Events, Nest Community Marketing, Today's Woman, Pretty Incredible, Pella, Signarama Downtown, PNC Bank, KCTCS Supplier Diversity, L&D Mailmasters, Harding Szymanski and Company, and Brown & Brown Insurance. So again, thank you to all of our wonderful sponsors. I think these companies, they understand how important it is to support women and to support women business owners, because this is the future. Women businesses are growing at a rate. Women's wealth is growing significantly. So it's going to be a different world in 10 years. So that is something exciting to think about. How the world will look different. There will be more equity. It's just going to be an amazing place to be. So without further ado, I am going to introduce Sharon Johnson. Sharon is our co-chair, along with Linda Rufinek, of programming here at NAWBO, Kentucky, and we're so lucky to have both of those amazing ladies. And Sharon Johnson is also Lender Relations and Economic Development for the U.S. Small Business Administration, Kentucky District Office. So Sharon, take it away.
Thank you. I was muted. Thank you. Welcome, and welcome everybody to the Lunch and Learn. We are very excited to have you guys on board listening to these experts that we have today. And they are all lending experts. I want to actually say thank you to our panel of speakers. They're going to talk about small business lending, what you need to know. It is so important, as Sarah had mentioned, that we are in a pandemic right now. COVID-19 has really hit our small businesses very, very hard. And, there's a lot of challenges out there as well. The challenge right now is a lot of it is access to capital. We want to make sure, and we've got this panel of experts here today to actually be able to answer the tough questions, answer some of your questions, and also help you to get access to capital, because oftentimes people just don't know how to connect those dots. So right now, I'm gonna go with some introductions, a basic introduction to our actual wonderful experts in the field of lending. Awesome. We're gonna start with Amy Sheher. She is the president and CEO of Elhome. We've got with us as well Amanda Nelson. She's with the Park Community Credit Union. She is the CDFI Development Officer. And Amy, I failed to mention, she is the president and CEO of Elhome. We have with us as well Kathy Pleasant. She is the vice president and director of SBA Lending. And Brenda Hyatt. She's with Louisville Government Small Business Loan Fund. Thank you all for being here with us today. We are very, very excited. And again, we've got some tough questions from our audience that is listening. And we're gonna actually start with, I've got a list of questions I'm gonna ask the panelists to answer. We're gonna actually have Q&A at the end for those who are on the phone. And we ask that you put your questions in the chat, and those questions will get answered as well. We probably will stop around 11:45 and go ahead and do the Q&A with the chat. And we're so excited. So if you have a question to ask, please jot it down or put it in the chat. And we're gonna open it up for Q&A again at 11:45. Thank you guys. But again, we truly appreciate you guys being here, but one of the toughest questions today and the things that's going on in our community, and I'm going to ask you guys to help us, but because we're faced with so many challenges during the COVID-19. And I'm going to ask you guys to, again, answer the questions. What are the most critical changes and challenges in lending for small businesses that we face today? I'm going to start with Kathy Pleasant. Kathy has been in lending for quite some time, and there are a lot of challenges today that our small businesses are facing. And what are some of the challenges and changes that, again, you see today in lending that could help the participants key in and to know what is expected right now and how we're going to go forward while we're in the pandemic and while we're out of the pandemic. Thank you. Kathy, you still there with me? Are you there, Kathy? Hello?
I was trying to get unmuted, so I'm unmuted.
Oh, that's okay. I thought we had
All
lost
right.
you again. Hi, Kathy. Thank you
Yeah,
for
good
that.
afternoon. Yes, good
Thank you.
afternoon. I'm happy to answer that question. I think some of the challenges in lending right now, banks are taking on, they're not taking on the risk that they used to take. So they're asking the borrower to take on more of that risk. And you see that in terms of now they're asking for maybe more collateral, maybe more money down. I'm starting to see those changes, and especially during this COVID time. So, 5-10 years ago, we probably would have asked, especially with an SBA loan, for collateral, because it is a guarantee program. But now they're starting to ask for more of that type of thing. An example if you're a startup business, they're looking to see if you have any outside income, if you have money that you can put down, do you have direct experience? So they're looking at those kind of things as opposed to transferable skills. Now they're saying, hey, do you really have a background in this industry that you're trying to start up? So I think they're getting a little tougher when it comes to, those type of questions and requirements. They may also ask, do you have a backup plan? Do you have available cash in the bank in case something goes wrong? Do you have, again, that outside income that can support the loan if we go through some kind of, crazy thing like COVID again? Do you have another way to support and to make those payments? So, those are some of the challenges that I see in lending today.
Wow. Amy, are you with me, Amy, today? Amy or any other panelists? Amy, are you here with us? Again, welcome.
Thanks.
Would you like to, I noticed that El Home has a lot of great resources. So, and Kathy, you're absolutely right. More collateral is needed now, and they're looking at everything. So, Amy, what is your perspective on that as well?
So I just want to say El Home is a community development financial institution, a CDFI, and we're certified by the U.S. Treasury. And what we do is we fill a gap between the predatory lenders and mainstream financial institutions. So we're working primarily with women-owned and minority-owned business owners that may not get a good, affordable loan, small business loan from a bank or credit union. So with COVID, of course, we've seen a lot of pivoting and, having to, the restaurant industry, so many industries have been decimated, childcare, for example. So we just hired 2 new financial business coaches for small businesses, because I think right now it's critical for all of us to have a warm hug, or a virtual warm hug, surrounding us, providing us with really good COVID planning and projecting the future. Nobody really has a crystal ball, but working on cash flow and credit and things like that, some of the basics. So El Home does not really lend to people that can get a good loan from Kathy Pleasant. Most of our loans are about $15,000, and Again, we go down much lower in our credit score because we're not just looking at credit, we're looking at other things, the character, cash flow, collateral, et cetera. So yeah, I'm seeing a lot of pivoting for COVID, but I'm also seeing a much larger need for technical assistance and financial coaching right now.
Well, I've got you on the, Kathy, Amy, while you're speaking. So Kathy mentioned collateral, and Kathy mentioned them looking at your business ideal. If you can elaborate a little bit more what you guys were doing in that case,
Yes.
in regards to $15,000, what's needed for that?
So typical collateral on a $15,000 loan, a lot of the small businesses we're working with are extremely small businesses, tailors, a sushi chef in a Kroger, a small restaurant, things like that. So collateral typically is owned by the individual, the sole proprietor. So it might be a car, for example. We'll put a car. The thing about L Home is we're a nonprofit lender. We're absolutely not interested in taking your collateral. Neither is any lender. Nobody wants your collateral, but we especially do not want to take collateral away from the borrower. So we are really, working hard again to make sure that that repayment is something that folks can do, but we do take on much more risk than a traditional bank, especially during these difficult times.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to actually bring in Amanda Nelson. She's with Park Community Credit Union. And I'll repeat that question. Amanda, are you with us today? And again, thank you for being here on the panel as well. We had talked about some of the challenges and the critical changes, in the small business community for lending. So what are some of those, changes and challenges you see from your perspective in the credit union?
So I can
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I can kind of echo a little bit about what Kathy and Amy are both talking about. We are looking for more of kind of what kind of liquid asset do you have? Because at the end of the day, we know it's a challenging time. We know COVID has hit everybody in different ways and has hit everyone extremely hard. So we do kind of like to see that backup plan. We will take on riskier loans with our microloan program, which is our business loan that is $10,000 and below. So we can take on a little bit more risk because it is such a smaller dollar figure. Credit score, we are seeing lower credit scores right now. Part of that is a lot of the businesses were shut down for a period of time. And so when they have no cash flow coming in for 2, 3, 4 months, that, some bills don't get paid. And so we're seeing, some of those effects now in the result of lower credit scores. And so we are seeing that. We are seeing lower liquidity. We're all seeing lower assets right now. I think another big part is just access to the capital and access to opportunities. A lot of times, we have heard about the PPP program, and that program worked great for big businesses or for larger, smaller businesses that understood the process and jumped on board right away. It was a lot of the smaller businesses that really didn't know how to navigate that program that were the ones that were kind of left behind. And those are the ones now that are needing that access to capital more than ever because they didn't have that opportunity for the PPP program. So we are a CDFI also, and we are a low income credit union. So we are helping a lot of the smaller businesses, maybe some riskier loans that maybe a bank wouldn't want to participate in. And so we can certainly help there. But those are some of the challenges, pretty similar to what Kathy and Amy are saying, as well as we're seeing those as well.
Thank you so much for your perspective, Amanda. I'm going to bring in Brenda Hyatt. Brenda, again, she handles a loan program with Metro Government. And I'm going to get her perspective on that same question, because the goal is to make sure that people understand the challenges and how to navigate through the challenges and the COVID-19 and going forward and beyond. Brenda, are you with me?
I am. Thank you, Sharon, for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here.
Yes, I definitely have to agree with what Amy shared as far as the technical assistance needed, because a lot of the borrowers that I am, that I'm having come to me are coming because like they were doing their small business as a side gig, and then when they lost their job when COVID hit, it became their full-time their full-time business. And so a lot of them need that technical assistance and need that kind of that education and awareness of what exactly they need to really make their business successful. So that is the education and the training is one of the most important pieces. I think the collateral has always, I think, been an issue with small businesses. So I think that as far as the change that I'm seeing is that there's so many people that are stepping into small business ownership that, than ever before because of the COVID, effects.
And Brenda, can you tell a little bit about, and I'm going to ask each and every one of you these questions as well. I guess I'll start with you since you're right here with me. So in regards to, we understand the challenges that are ahead of us. What are some of the things that the Metro government's doing right now to pivot, to help small businesses pivot just a little bit more? And I'm going to ask, each and every one of you guys as well, what are you doing to help small businesses right now pivot in this pandemic, whether it be through technical assistance or whether it be through additional lending? So if you can kind of go with, answer that question, Brenda, that would be great. Are you still there?
Yes.
Good. Thank you, Brenda.
So what we have done to try to assist our borrowers, our current borrowers, is we are in the process right now of implementing a third deferral program. We did at the very beginning, we did 2-3 month. We had a 3 month that we started with, and we allowed people to extend for another 3 months in deferring their loan payments. And on those two, we had interest continued to accrue. And what I found when they started back up after those 6 months is that, that some of the people with high balances, their interest was, more than their payment amount that was due for those if they had been deferred for 6 months. So now we have just rolled out a new deferment program for our borrowers that we have actually turned off interest for 7 months for our borrowers because we know we're going to be dealing with this another, at least for this through the second quarter of 2021. So we have turned off the interest and deferred payments for another 7 months for our borrowers to give them a chance to recover and be able to get their businesses back on track. The other thing we did, it's closed now, so it's not, but we are still lending money. We received a grant from the Economic Development Administration for $2.8 million that we have been, we're loaning out COVID relief loans for up to $50,000, and we are still in the process of getting those approved and loaned out to small business owners. So those are the things that we have been doing, and moving forward. Also, I think they ended up granting to over 800 businesses, like over $27 million in grants for small businesses. So Louisville Metro government, in addition, to METCO, which is the Metropolitan Business Development Corporation, which is what I manage, has done several things to try to assist small business owners during the pandemic.
Wow, that's good stuff. Thank you. Thank you so much, Brenda, for sharing that information. It's good information. I'm going to ask Kathy Pleasant if she can kind of mention how is Republic Bank helping small businesses pivot through the COVID-19, and what have you guys done so much? I know y'all done a whole lot of PPP lending.
We do.
But Kathy, if you can answer that question, I would be
Sure.
greatly, everybody will appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the first thing that we do is we discuss with the company, we try to set an appointment. We talk with them. We ask them, how has COVID impacted their business? How do they see the COVID, going forward? What do they see with their future? And then we sit down with them and try to map out a solution. We use a lot of our SBA loan programs. We're very involved in the SBA programs, and we try to find a solution that can help them, whether it's, they want to buy some equipment, we can offer longer terms to them, less money down. We can offer the SBA programs that can help offset some of that collateral issues that they have. So the SBA provides a guarantee, very similar to like a VA loan. So that's going to offset the risk for the bank. So we're going to say yes a lot quicker if we have a 75% guarantee or an 85% or 50% guarantee. So we kind of talk with the client, we find out what's your need, tell me about what's going on. And then I try to find a solution. There are a lot of different programs. I just think we need to educate more. We need to let the clients know what's out there. How can I, whether it's gap financing and going to METCO or, providing them with an SBA loan here at Republic Bank. The first thing that they want to do is to locate a preferred lender. That's someone who already has the SBA concurrence. They don't have to go to SBA to get a decision. They can make the decision right there after the approval. So if you go to a preferred lender, then you're going to have a quicker turnaround. You're going to have more knowledgeable staff there. So we're going to be able to, dive in there and really find a program that fits, with the client. We also here at Republic, we have a community fund that is being head up by Pedro Bryant. And that's for loans that are under $50,000. It's a $3 million revolving fund. So that's new, and that's something that we're excited about here at Republic Bank. Again, we can offer long term. Let's say if you want to buy a building, we can, with the SBA program, you can go up to 25 years on a term. And that's going to help out with that cash flow. That's going to help out with, getting your payments as low as possible. So that's some of the things that we're doing. I want to make one quick, SBA will not decline you because you don't have collateral. But in some cases, if you have it available, that's when they'll ask for it. So I just wanted you to be aware that you don't always have to have the collateral. So there's some programs where it says it's not mandatory and we can work that out. So again, we got to talk with you. We got to find out what's going on, what are your needs, and then we go from there.
Thank you, Kathy and Brenda. Good information. I believe that myself, knowledge is key. So important that our small businesses understand and get the knowledge, and also understand how to connect those dots of what's needed. Thank you for that information, Kathy. I'm going to ask Amy to speak as well in regards to that particular question. How are you asking, or how are you helping small businesses pivot in your community at El Home? Amy, are you with me? Are you there? I don't see her picture. That's why. Okay, thank you. If you can answer that question, because you all have some great programs as well. Small businesses, again, as Kathy and Brenda mentioned, knowledge is key in regards to letting people know about the resources. I think it's so important that the resources that you all provide are good and great. So Amy, tell us a little bit about how you are helping right now the small businesses to pivot during the COVID and helping them as we get out of the COVID. Thank you.
Sure. So again, it's important if any of you need loans, or other women business owners or other business owners that need loans, it's important to understand, how we differentiate ourselves. And just on this panel, for example, we have different products, and we're at El Home, we're really filling gaps, right? So the first thing we did was to go completely virtual to keep everyone safe. So we have a really cool online loan application process that if you go to lhomeky.org, you'll see the small business loans that we offer. And the online application process actually works with you to prompt you to put your tax return in and to put your financials in. And it works with the applicant to make that whole application process super easy. And it's virtual, but we also have people sort of monitoring it and just, again, providing gentle nudges to get the paperwork in. And our paperwork is very streamlined. It's not cumbersome. So that was a very big pivot. And also at the beginning of the pandemic, I was very worried that women and minority business owners would not access PPP in the way that perhaps white male-owned businesses would. And that did bear out, unfortunately, nationally. So we partnered with the city and we deployed over 1.5 million, $25,000 loans at 0% interest, along with Metco, along with Brenda's shop at Louisville Forward. We deployed all that money in 6 weeks, and we had 10 times the demand for that product than we had capital for, because as a nonprofit, we raise capital. But now we've got our small business products all online, lhomeky.org. We have a small business loan. We have a working capital loan. If you're in construction and you need capital to buy the equipment and supplies, and you can pay us back in 6 months to a year, we have a really good working capital loan. And then we're trying to solve hard problems in community. And one of the problems we're trying to solve is prevent displacement caused by gentrification in gentrifying neighborhoods. So we have a small developer loan. If you are interested and you live in a low to moderate income neighborhood in West Louisville or Shelby Park or Newburgh, and you have some experience flipping houses for affordable housing or creating affordable rental housing, we've got a small developer loan for you up to $30,000 so you can rehab those properties. We have a real dearth of affordable housing in this town. And so we're really, when we create our products, it's really about community members, particularly in low to moderate income neighborhoods, coming to us with needs. And the access to capital is real. It's a real need because of historic redlining and institutional racism and whatnot. So, those are the kinds of challenges we're trying to help solve in the city.
Thank you so much, Amy. I'm going to ask Amanda that same question. Amanda, you're at the credit union. So again, how are you helping your small businesses, that your members, which are small businesses, or any additional people that are interested in, what you do and joining or whatever that's on the call? How are you helping those people pivot during this crisis of the COVID-19? And also, what kind of programs do you all have that you would like to share with the audience?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we, as soon as COVID hit, I think that Park Community Credit Union they've done a phenomenal job with understanding what's going on, with understanding that our members are, in vulnerable spots, as, people that have had the same job for 20 years now suddenly don't have that job that they've had for that long. So some of the things that we did, we really believe in education at the credit union. And so education is not just how can we, invest your dollars to make you, the most money possible. It's basic things like, how do you budget off of, your new unemployment check that you've gotten, which may be, reduced pay than what you're used to. It's looking at what does small business lending look like? What does it mean? So we have a full-time financial education director on staff with us, and so she's done a phenomenal job. We've pivoted really quickly to everything virtual. The majority of our team is working remote, and so we're giving people that access to those opportunities for education just virtually. She's phenomenal. She has helped so many people in so many ways. So education certainly has been a big part for us. We have also offered hardship loans, and those are still being offered, and those are for our members that, again, they may have been out of a job. Maybe they worked a restaurant job that had to be shut down for a while, and so we've introduced that loan. shortly thereafter, I say kind of the world shut down in March. So those have really been able to help people. Again, those were deferred start payments and things like that. So really just gave people a leg up to stay in their homes, to keep providing food for their families and things like that. Other things we've done, we do skip a payment. We do skip a month payments. So let's just say, like right now, a lot of our restaurant workers, they can't work indoor, indoor dining right now. So some of them are kind of taking temporary leave positions. So that skip a month gives those members the opportunity to say, hey, no penalty. We're not going to, be upset that you need to just take a break for a month. We just add that payment on the end of the month. There's no penalty to the member and things like that. So we've done deferral payments on larger business loans and things like that. One of the products that's been really, really great for us and that has been really successful, not just in recent years, but more so right now, is our microloan program. That program is designed specifically for small businesses. So that loan goes from $500 to $10,000. So truly small businesses. These could be startups. These could be people that just need additional equipment. These could need, we've done just somebody that needs a repair in a truck, and it's really across the board, just how we can possibly help. It's 3.99% financing. Our interest on that, with as long as you pay it back as agreed, we refund 100% of that interest. So as long as we have no late payments, and that's very easy to do because we can set that up on an auto pay, we refund 100% of that interest. So a lot of people say, well, you're not making any money off of it, and you're right, we're not. But it's what's right to do for the community. It's what the community needs. It's what our small businesses need, and that's what we're here to do. We're trying to help as best as we possibly can. So, and that's up to a 3-year term. So again, a great term for $10,000. I mean, that's under a $300 payment a month. So a really great product. So those are some of the things that we've been doing at the credit union during COVID.
Thank you, Amanda, for that. And thank you all for that. So we're looking at the challenges. We looked at that. And you all have great programs that you're doing right now, but some of our small businesses are still having issues with getting funding and not so much as navigating, but if you could provide any advice, what could they do to better, position themselves to get the loan? I don't know if it's the package or what kind of advice would you give them? For an example, if I'm a small business owner and my paperwork is not as well as it should be, or missing items, or how would you suggest a small business owner better prepare themselves? And that's to you, Amanda. I have you right in front of me. So how would you answer that question? And because the goal of the panel right now, the goal of the audience is to take away. So if I have everything, I've got my business going, everything is intact, but I still cannot get a loan, what are some of your recommendations that they need to do going forward, whether it be a packaging issue or whatever? If you can kind of give them what your recommendations would be to help them to increase that effort of getting lending, actually increase the odds for that small business owner.
Yeah, so some of the big things are just sometimes when we see a small business loan, somebody may be really good at their craft. Let's say that they're a woodworker, and they could make you anything you could possibly think of. A lot of times the business education on the back end is just not there. And that could just be because, they know what they're good at, so that's what they do. So when it sometimes we don't see a lot of organization with the paperwork, or I might get, half of the paperwork, and then it's kind of like pulling teeth to try to get the other parts of it. So I think one of the things is just trying to be as organized as possible to be able to convey to the lender, like, these are all of the things that I have, at my disposal. This is everything I can show you. We want to see your taxes. We want to see, what is your business plan? A lot of times when I ask people for a business plan, they say, I'm just using the woodworking example. Well, I do woodworking. But they don't really have a full understanding of maybe who their market is, how they're targeting people. I got a lot of, well, it's just referral, and that's good. But what are you going to do to help expand that knowledge? And so sometimes it's just a conversation. People, I feel like, really know what they want to do with their business. They just may not have it all down on paper. And so it's really just that conversation of saying, help me answer and help me understand your business and what you're looking to do. So I think loan packaging, I think that that's great. We don't particularly do a lot of that at Park Community Credit Union, but we are not shy about using, SBDC, say, hey, they just need help packaging this for a lender. Like, what can you do to help them? If they're not getting approved for a credit issue, maybe they have some poor credit or, poor payment history, which is pretty common and things that I'm seeing right now. It's, getting them in touch with, for us, it would be, can we help your credit by getting you a credit builder loan? Can we help build that credit we can show your credibility, show that we know that you are capable of doing it. And so I think it's important for lenders not to just say no. We can say not right now, but not stopping that conversation there. So there may be something that we at Park Community Credit Union can't do, but it may be something that Amy at L Home can do. And we know that. And so we can say, hey, unfortunately, this isn't something that we can do right now, but we still want you to be successful. We want you to be able to do this. Why don't we get you connected with El Home? Or why don't we get you connected with Kathy over at Republic? Why don't we figure out a way to get you connected? So it may not be something we don't do, but it may be something that another lender can do. And so I think that that's one of the things that is so helpful, and so helpful for groups like this is, it's not stopping the conversation at no. It's saying, one of the reasons that we weren't able to approve you right now was, maybe your credit wasn't so great. Here's how we can help. Because I think that that's important. I think people just get beat down so much by no, but nobody's actually saying, this is how we can help, or this would make things better. So I think that's some of the things that we're looking at.
Amanda, thank you for that, because oftentimes, people don't take the second initiative and say, this is the why. And that's a lot of times, that's what's missing. And thank you so much for being an advocate for small businesses, as well as everybody else on the panel. Thank you for that. Brenda, I know you guys do a whole lot in the community as far as Metro government is concerned and helping small businesses with what they need. Again, we talked about the challenges, but we're going to ask you to answer that same question as far as what can you advise the participants how to better be prepared to get the loan, because there's a lot of issues saying that I did not get funded, but oftentimes it could just be they're not prepared. So if you can answer that same question and provide us with some tips, we would love it. Brenda, are you with me? Yes.
Yes, I mean, I agree with a lot of what Amanda said. I mean, the important thing, what we do is we try to utilize our resource partners as much as possible. I mean, there are so many programs and organizations out there that offer, classes and workshops and all these things. And sometimes it's just about the education. And so, sometimes, like Amanda said, you just have to say, your financials need, more work, I can refer you to someone at the SBDC. I can refer you to Navigate Enterprises. They can help you they can meet with you, help you to get your financials in better organization, to get them ready. We normally at Louisville Forward, in normal times, have our small business managers that, do work with small businesses, but right now they're a little bit overwhelmed, so they're not doing that a whole lot right now. But the SBDC is key in helping, to people to get their package ready. And sometimes it's just like Amanda said, it's wait and come back in 6 months, save a little bit of money, get your stuff organized, make sure that you're ready, do some planning. And those are, important things that can help somebody get ready, because I think a lot of times people want to, and I'm sorry for the background noise. I have a puppy who's pawing at the door.
You're fine.
But I think a lot of times small business people, the entrepreneurs, they want to jump right in, and they want, and they think the first thing to do is to get a loan. Well, that's not the first thing to do. The first thing is planning. The first thing is, to make sure that you've got the knowledge and the information to be successful, because there's nothing worse than, starting a business before you're really ready and seeing it just go right into the ground because you didn't have the tools you needed to be successful. So I think that that's the important thing, is to make sure we utilize all the resources available out there with our resource partners, and all the workshops and we've got a calendar on our website of all the workshops that we are aware of that assist that small businesses on just about anything. And I utilize in one of my programs with my Business Accelerator loan, lynda.com through the library. That is an online free source of training and classes that people can take on a variety of different subjects. And it can really be a great resource for people, and it's free. And right now you can do it at home through the internet.
Brenda, thank you for that information. If you could send me a copy of that information from Metro Government, that would be wonderful. And I've got the website. I'll provide that too.
Yeah, I'll send you the
Amanda, you send me the website as well. We want to make sure that people know the information, know how to connect these dots. But thank you for your responses. I really, really appreciate that. I'm going to move it on to Kathy Pleasant as well, because again, as being a banker, I know we talked about the challenges and issues. We want to see how we can better prepare or better help them prepare to get that loan that they're looking to get. Thank you, Kathy. Hi again.
Well, first say that Amanda and Brenda, they nailed it. So everything that they said, I would agree with.
Thank you.
I start by having that conversation, with that client. And what keeps you up at night? Tell me what's going on with your business. Tell me what your needs are. If you're a startup, tell me what you want to do. Let's just talk about it. Once we have that conversation, then it kind of leads me to know how I can help them prepare for whatever, their needs are. I usually start out by, again, we just have that conversation. I can provide them a checklist and say, if you give me this, this, and this, that's our step forward towards getting that loan. If they're not ready, I know we've talked about using the Small Business Development Center, SBDC. I do like to collaborate with other lenders out there. Maybe it's something that for gap financing, we go to Brenda and say, hey, they need this amount down because they don't have the down payment. So I try to, collaborate with other companies, L Home, refer business there, whatever we can do to help them get there. And I think it's important that we hold their hands. I mean, that's kind of what I do. I'm a hand holder. So I'm going to help them through the process and lead them there, making sure they have the right documentation. Maybe their financials are not looking the best. So then we can refer them to someone that can help them get it into a format that banks are going to need to have. So we do a lot of that. And that's what it takes sometimes. They're not ready yet. Maybe, like I said, the credit score, maybe there's a tax issue, something, whatever's going on, we try to help them cure that so that we can take them to the next step. And I'm most excited about that. That's what I like to see, the end result when they get that loan.
Good.
So sometimes what heard Amanda say, that it's a not now, but 6 months later they can come back and they're ready to go. So sometimes it takes that long, but at least they walk away with knowing, having that knowledge and that education of knowing, what do I need to get this done? And I'm happy to do that anytime.
Thank you, Kathy. I think it's so important because oftentimes small businesses just need that push and have patience. So thank you for that. It's so important to have patience during the whole process. It's important. Amy, I'm going to ask you that same questions, and that's good. We're getting some good information in regards to, again, we talked about the challenges, we talked about the issues. but we want to help them to get it done. What can we do even more? I love the communication. That's key. I think it's even key. And I know you, Kathy, you do a lot of that. Over the years, you tell small businesses, no, you can't get it done right now, but just wait, change this. So Amy, I'm gonna bring you up as well to kind of share your information or share what you would like everybody to know in regards to how can they better prepare to get the loan, and what do you see? Thank you.
So yeah, everybody shared really good stuff. I was gonna say what Kathy did. I would find out what the lender's checklist is. So what part of what makes lending cumbersome and timely is not that it takes us very long to go to loan review and underwrite the loan and even disperse. We're very fast at that. And Kathy Pleasant's a board member of mine, and she sits on our loan review committee, and we're fast. We can get money out 48 hours after you put the loan documents together. But it's that gathering the loan documents takes the longest, right? So my recommendation would be, first off, find out what the checklist is and communicate, about what gaps you might have. You don't have 2 years tax returns, or you don't have, your last month end financials, or whatever it is. Just really figure out, ask right away what that checklist is, and then do your best to get those documents and communicate. If you don't have the documents, what does that mean? And is there a different product or a different process? But that would be my big advice about that. And again, grants are always better than loans, right? Always, 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 always. That's why they're very, very, very scarce. But
That's right.
the city did a fabulous job at getting out grants to small businesses. They worked their butts off. The state now has a $40 million fund for restaurants and bars, up to $10,000 for a small restaurateur. If you have 2 restaurants, up to $20,000. So, and that will be depleted. If it isn't already depleted, it will be depleted very, very soon. The SBDC, they have more than doubled their staff recently. We just met with them yesterday. So it is important for the small business community to know that as you see these panelists, we're all collaborating. We're all working together. So that if you need that pre-lending small business assistance, Nicole Leachman at Park is top notch. The SBDC is top notch. Navigate Enterprise Center at Jewish Family and Career Service, top notch, right? But that checklist is really important. And I just want to say that a lot of our clients are in crisis, right? We've got single moms that have a side hustle, and they're having to do non-traditional instruction with their kids at home. They can't go to work. And so I just wanted to mention that we have a financial navigator program that we are partnering with 211 and 311. And if you are in crisis and you are worried about being evicted, or your business is about to be evicted because you can't pay your rent, we have financial navigators that can help people amass resources. Because here's the thing, it's a great town and we've got resources, but if you're a single mom with her side hustles and kids at home, you don't have all day to be finding all those resources, right? So at lhomeky.org, you can go and have a free financial navigator, listen to what your issues are, and they will pull the resources together for you and email you a list of resources so you don't have to spend days finding them. So I just want to, lift up the fact that a lot of our community members are really struggling, and we at L Home and all the people on the call are doing everything that we can to connect people to resources so that they don't get evicted, so that they have food on the table, so that they have toys for their kids at Christmas, etc.
Thank you, Amy. You all of you guys have been a blessing. And again, I want to say hats off to you all for being that catalyst in the community, an advocate for small businesses, or in your case, Amy, your advocate for homeowners and everything else. So we're gonna open up the chat, but prior to us doing that, I do want to mention the Small Business Development Center is partners with SBAs and SCORE. So, and I'm gonna provide a link to Amy as well, so she can put that in the chat. So you can make sure that you have a listing of all the resources that are in our communities. But I'm gonna give it to Amanda to open up the chat. And she's gonna go ahead and ask you guys questions from the audience participants. Are you there?
Hi, everyone.
Yes.
Well, my first question would be probably when I am listening to all of these, it seems like a lot of the processes are the same, but like, let's say I'm looking for a $5,000 loan. Let's say I'm looking for a $10,000 loan. I didn't hear specifically who should go to any of the panelists. Obviously, no one wants to hear no. So I'll start with Amy. Who would you say is like the best target audience to be coming to you? Just to be clear to our members that who should go to who.
Yes, that's a great question because you don't want to waste your time.
Yeah.
We primarily serve women and minority small business, very small businesses that have credit scores down to around 525, 550. We'll go down into the 500s. So, you know, I watched Hillary Clinton say something at a CDFI, National CDFI conference. She says, more dreams die in bank parking lots than anywhere else. And that is not a slam to Republic or even to Park, because they're in it they're in it to be of service. But we are the place to go if you have heard no, right? If you're a person of color, if you're a woman who has had credit challenges, we are the place to go. We are not making bad loans though, right? We are taking on more risk. But eventually we, like everyone else on the call, wants to get paid back. But if someone has said no and you've got a dream or you've got a side hustle and you want to take it to the next step, we've got loans for you. And you are our target market. And then what we do is we report to the credit bureaus so that every time you pay us back, your credit score is going up along with the technical assistance we provide you. And then when you're done paying our loan off, you go to Kathy at Republic, you go to Amanda at Park Credit Union, and that is our mission, is to be a gap filler, to build people's capacity so that they can be served well by mainstream financial institutions.
Great. Kathy, did you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in agree with everything that Amy said. For the small size loans that you were talking about, the $5,000, the $10,000 loans, I would refer them to, to Park and to El Home and maybe even, I think Brenda may have those small loans. I think that would be the best served, and I would just be that resource and referral partner to make sure they get there. And then if it's, a little bit larger kind of loans, then I would probably try to find a fit here at Republic. But it's going to be based on, like I said, what are their needs? If they only need, $15,000, and that's where I'm going to refer. I think that'll be a better fit. It'll be a quicker process, that type of thing. So I definitely look for what's best for the customer at the end of the day. I'm not just trying to make a loan to them. I'm trying to find the best place for them so they can get the financing that they need.
Great. Amanda, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, I was, for us, our microloan only goes up to $10,000. So we get a lot of times people will say, well, I need so much equipment, but it's going to cost $25,000. So that for us would be more or less like a personal or signature, type loan. And that's not usually the avenue people want to go with their business. So a lot of times, I mean, for something like that, that kind of dollar figure, that's something I would probably get connected with like Kathy at Republic to try to get those. Again, not saying no, we might not be able to do it at Park, but Kathy would be a great resource for those. So for us, it's really that $500 to $10,000 loan. Sometimes it's just people need, $3,000 for, a new lawnmower for their lawn care company. And so I think what's really important, and I think this is what we all really do, is I don't want to give somebody a $10,000 loan if they only need $3,000. you know, that's not helping them. Sometimes people think, well, yeah, now I have $10,000 and I can do all these things. At the end of the day, they need to be able to pay it back, and they need to be able to have a loan that they're comfortable in a dollar figure. So for us, kind of that $500, $10,000 loan is really a great spot for us. And for that microloan, anything kind of above that, I would look kind of to Amy or to Kathy for doing those. And then of course, you know, we can do the multi-million-dollar, you know, real estate loans and those types of things. So it's really kind of, there's a little gap in there that would probably be best served to like Kathy.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then Brenda, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yes, two organizations that I really haven't heard mentioned is Navigate Enterprises. They do microloans, and also Community Ventures does micro business loans. The city has actually, we have discontinued our microloan program and partnered with Navigate Enterprises to administer, you know, to help, you know, to give them additional funds to help them administer micro business loans. So those are two organizations that when somebody comes to me and they want, you know, less than 15,000, that's where I, you know, direct them, in addition to El Home also.
Great. I wanted to open it up to any of our participants. Did anybody have any questions that they wanted to ask any of the panelists?
I have a question, ladies, about the PPP loan forgiveness process. Several of my clients are going through audits currently, and we have loans on the books for the PPP loan, but they know they're going to be forgiven, so we're going to have to take it into income during that process. But all of their banks are basically telling them to hold off. They're deferring that first payment that's due. Usually, it's typically due right now. So what are you guys doing, or give us an update on that PPP forgiveness process?
Well, I can speak on some of that, because that's what I live and breathe right now. Everything is PPP. You know, what we're doing, we had 3,700 clients. So that's, first of all, we did a lot of PPP loans. So we're heavy into this forgiveness process, and we're working as a team. So we have our loan officers out there answering questions, dealing with the clients. And then behind the scenes, that's kind of what I'm doing is to going through the files, making sure we have the right documentation so that they can be forgiven. So we're working very closely with the client and providing them, this is the information that you need. If you submit this, we will submit it to the SBA and request forgiveness. So that's how it's supposed to work. And a lot of times we have to navigate them through the process. But, you know, we're getting it done. It's going to take a minute, you know, it's not going to be an overnight thing. There's a lot of news, you know, in the, I guess with the CARES Act, there was one, I guess, one proposal that came out. I'll say that if your loan is under 150,000, that it was going to be, you know, a much easier process for forgiving. So some of those things were coming out. We didn't see everything. We're hoping that that's still going to come out, maybe, you know, down the road. But the process is got to be better than what it is. And so we're hoping that Congress, we're hoping that the Treasury is looking at this and saying, you know, we want to help everybody. We want to make it as easy as possible. So maybe that's forgiving, you know, all the loans under 50,000 or, you know, under 150, whatever that is, you know, I'm hoping that they'll make it a lot easier. And we're trying to stay on top of that as it comes out. But it is a process. And you got to work very closely with your loan officer, with your bank, make sure you submit the right documentation, and we can get it approved and get it forgiven. So it's been fun.
And there were very large CDFIs that did PPP loans. We're very small and we didn't participate in PPP loans. So Kathy really has a ton of expertise in this. I don't know, Amanda, if you did that at all.
We acted as a referral source. So we referred a lot of our PPP program applicants to Lendio, and that's who we used. We only participated in the first round. We just saw too many hiccups. It was kind of a mess when it was rolled out, and it's kind of been that the whole time. So we opted out of the referral program after the first round. So again, not to push more on you, Kathy, but I think Kathy would be our expert.
All right. Is there anybody else who has any questions?
I have one, which is, what advice would you give to someone establishing a business today and what they should proactively do to build a relationship with the bank?
Is there any specific panelists that'd like to speak to this?
I'd pick up the phone and call Kathy Pleasant or Amanda.
Or, yeah, we would find a fit. We would find a fit. I think the best thing is to start that conversation. I mean, this is a good time. I know everyone is busy, but we are open, we're accessible, and, you know, give us a call. We will start the conversation and we will find a way to help you. So whether it's, you know, from us or from another referral source, that's what you got to do. You have to be educated to know that there's a lot of things out there, and we'll find the best fit for you. But I think that the key is starting that conversation, and you know, we all want that relationship. We're a relationship type bank, so we want a relationship with you. So whatever, you know, give us a call. Let's see if we can talk and find out what's going on with you. How you want to start that business, and then we'll take it from there. So that's how you build that relationship. Just making that first contact.
I agree with Kathy. I think sometimes there's a misconception that in order to start a relationship with a financial institution, that you have to go straight for a loan. So you may not even have like a specific purpose for the loan. You just feel like you need to have a loan because that's going to start that relationship. A lot of times it's exactly what Kathy said. It's just that conversation. It's just learning about your business, because you might not need a loan right now, but you know, if we have, you know, knowledge of you and we understand what you're doing and we understand your philosophy with business and those types of things, that goes a long way. So I think just picking up that phone, right? You know, for us right now, our lobbies are closed, so don't stop into a branch, but, you know, pick up the phone. You know, our contact information is certainly accessible and things like that. So, and sometimes, you know, and this may be even true for Kathy, it could just even be starting a business account with us. Like, let's see how you handle your money as a business. So even just having you know, a business account, and that there's sometimes, I mean, there's not even like a huge commitment for having a business account. Like, you don't have to have millions of dollars in the business account, but just as a way to start that relationship with us, get familiar with us, see if we're a good fit for you. Because it goes both ways. You know, sometimes it has to be a good fit for us, but it also has to be a good fit for the member. You know, do they like how we communicate with them? Do they you know, like the products that we have? Do they understand our systems? Do they understand our platforms that we use and things like that? So all of that, I think, is important. It has to be not only a win for us, but it has to be, you know, a great fit for you. So we might be a great fit for some people. Kathy might be a great fit for somebody else. Amy might be a great fit for somebody else. So I think just really finding your fit is great.
Amanda, this is Brenda. I was going to touch on the deposit piece, because from being a recovering banker of many years, the easiest way to start a relationship with a bank is to open that deposit account. That's the easiest way to start it, and then you're going in, or right now you can't go in, but I mean, you're getting to know the people, and it's an easy way to start that relationship.
Absolutely. Yeah. We encourage, obviously, a depository relationship as well. Because there are a lot of people that we say are unbanked. You know, there are a lot of people that don't trust banks, and I'm talking banks as any financial institution as a whole. And so they rely on places like payday lenders and some like the quick cash and things like that. And that just is, once you get in, it's very hard to get out. And so it's of course, you know, we would love to have everybody be a member at Park, but I think any relationship at all with a financial institution is certainly a great start. So test the waters, learn how to trust that institution, if you will. And I think that's going to go a long way.
Great.
Well,
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say on behalf of NABO, really want to thank all of you guys for participating. We're about 5 minutes over our time, but it has been incredibly informative and very helpful for, I know for myself, and I know a number of women on this call that gained some really great insight into how to manage those banking relationships. Sharon, anything you want to add before we wrap up?
Yeah, I do want to give them another, again, thank you guys so very much. A lot of information was given and a lot of nuggets that they are going to be left with. And we do truly appreciate this information you provided. Do we have 2 more minutes to let them to provide their final remarks? I would greatly appreciate that if we do have a minute. If you guys could provide any final remarks that you would like to provide to our participants, we would be greatly appreciated. I'm going to start with Amy, and then after Amy, follow with Amanda, Kathy, as well as Brenda. Again, thank you guys, and you have been amazing. Thank you.
I've also thrown up everybody's contact information here on the screen.
So I don't need to take any more time. I think you kind of know our shtick. Go to lhomeky.org, refer people to us. I wanted to just say about Linda's comment, there are bankers that do get incentivized to sell loans, if you will. But I think in the micro lending space in particular, and especially, I don't want to appear sexist, but the women on this call are very mission driven, as and not really profit driven. Although at the end of the day, you want to have, your job. But just having working with someone that's not selling products, and then really, I would just say, if you feel uncomfortable that someone's trying to get you into a product that you are not comfortable in. Trust thyself, trust yourself, and trust your instinct, and know that there are those of us who you can reach out to for good advice, because we really want to empower you to build wealth for your families and yourselves. And at the end of the day, it's not about, checking off how many loans we've made in a month and things like that. Thanks for this opportunity, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Amy. We're going to go down the list with Amanda, Kathy, and then Brenda.
Yeah, I would also just say, I think I've talked a lot today. So if there's anything that Park Community Credit Union, if we can do anything at all, please feel free to reach out to me, even if it's just education for your employees. Our financial education with, somebody had mentioned Nicole, she is just a rock star, a great resource for us. So if she can be of any service to you as well, and just help educate your employees, help educate the community, that's certainly something that we would be happy to do. I'm certainly available. I did put my contact information in the chat, and of course it's on here. So please feel free to reach out to me at any time. Love to have a conversation, love to help explore options. At Park, we are really geared towards just access to opportunity. It's one thing to have opportunities, but having access to them is a whole other ballgame. So we really just try to put that into the forefront of everything that we do. Having that access is so key. So if we can do anything for you at Park, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help in any way that I can. And thank you all so much for having me today. I appreciate you all.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you so very much. Kathy Pleasant, we're going to move it to you.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure participating in this this panelist session. And what I'd like to say is that don't be afraid to seek out information. Go out there. There's all these resources, a lot of the stuff that we talked about today from everyone here, but educate yourselves so that you know what's available. If you're looking for SBA lending, I'm happy to talk at anytime. So call me, email me. I'm here, I'm available. But again, what I'd leave you is just seek out the information, seek out and educate yourself as much as you can. And thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. And final remarks from Brenda.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me to participate. This was a pleasure. And my contact information is there. If anybody, wants to reach out to me, I'm always available. I try to answer my phone whenever I can. And I just don't be afraid to ask questions and to, to just take advantage of all the resources that are out there. Thank you so much.
You all have been awesome, awesome, awesome. Again, happy holidays to each and every one of your families. And on behalf of NABO, again, we thank you so very much for participating in our Lunch and Learn. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.